Welcome to Cleveland Stage Shore, where we take you behind the scenes with stars who bring our favorite characters to life. Today, we have a very special guest, an actor whose voice has soared through the skies as Superman in Justice League, whose charm and intrigue kept us on edge as Charlie in Scandal, and whose role as Brian and Father of the Bride made us cry. He's been a part of so many incredible projects, and we can't wait to dive into his journey. Up next, we're talking to the talented George Newbern. Stay with us. This is one conversation you don't want to miss. George, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Jimmy. Thank you, man.
Yeah, so you're going to be here in a couple days. Are you ready for the brisk cold?
Barely. I'm barely. It's been chilly here in California, but probably not as cold as Cleveland.
Yeah. So Cleveland it's the birthplace of Superman.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that a little bit. So first off, are you going to go visit any of the sites of Superman while you're in town?
I probably won't, just because we're so busy there. I went to, I think it was Ohio. It was not Ohio, for a Superman, a con. A Superman. It was the home of Superman. It was on the Mississippi River. Where is it? I think it was someplace in Ohio. Someplace in Ohio. It was like, oh gosh. They have their own Superman con every year. Small town. Anyway, whatever. But I probably won't go looking at it. I won't have time this weekend. But Cleveland's a beautiful town. I like the Cleveland Playhouse. And
Playhouse Square is beautiful.
Yeah, I shot a movie in Akron.
Jerry's house is still here, where they did.
Oh, is it really? Oh, really?
Yeah. They just renovated it and everything. So his foundation bought it, and there's a big Superman logo outside the house now and everything.
Neat.
It's really nice.
Neat.
So let's jump into it. You've had such a diverse career. What originally drew you into acting?
I was into musicals when I was a kid. I was a singer and a dancer, and I did mostly musicals growing up. In my small town, I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and there happened to be a really great children's theater there. So it was something different to do, and I got involved in that. And then as I got older, I decided I wanted to study it in college. So I went to Northwestern, and I kind of figured out, okay, I think I might be good at this. And you kind of go along, and if you have some validation here and there, you keep going. So I was getting good parts, and while I was in college, I screen tested for Back to the Future. So I thought, okay, maybe I really should try this. So I came out to LA after I graduated, and then just kind of hit the ground running.
That's awesome. Did you ever think voice work would be such a big
Never.
part
I never, not in a million years did I think I'd be doing voice work. But I always did voices. I always have done accents and dialects and crazy voices, all just as a kid. My whole life I have, but I didn't think I would, actually end up doing parts in it. But it's been such a fun diversion or main course. So fun.
So let's jump into the Superman part.
Yep.
When you first got the role of Superman, what was going through your mind? Did it feel intimidating at all?
It was a little intimidating when I realized what it is. I thought I'd just actually auditioned for thought it was one episode. I didn't realize it was a series. I just wasn't paying attention, honestly. I had a lot of other things in my mind. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, and then I didn't even know Tim Daly. I'd known Tim Daly from another TV movie, and I was taking over for Tim because Tim was busy doing a TV show. And then when I sort of put two and two together, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But when I learned, that it was the Justice League, it was going to be a big deal at Warner Brothers, I purposely didn't go back and listen to Tim's voice because I just didn't want to get it in my head. And I was always a huge. I did a movie with Christopher Reeve when I first came to LA, and I spent a lot of time with Christopher Reeve, so I was a big Superman fan. Mm-hmm. And I used to read the comics when I was a kid, but going through my mind, I just thought, don't really. I didn't want to screw it up, but I also didn't want to think about it too much because then it gets in your head.
I was going to ask, how did you approach it to make it your own?
I just thought, I need to make this guy as earnest and grounded as possible, and that part of me that is, not a panicked actor. Everything that was not what I was actually doing for a living. Just the most grounded, calm, peaceful part of me, who would occasionally get frustrated. That's basically it.
So do you feel connected more to Clark Kent than Superman, or vice versa?
Probably more like Clark Kent, honestly.
Some actors say playing the hero is harder than playing a villain. What was that the case for you with Superman?
Well, I think I've done a lot of parts in my life that are lots of good guy parts, and parts that are supposed to be good, and there's not a lot of gray or not a lot of subtlety in terms of their their life experience is not a tortured one. When you kind of like you always do, he's the ultimate Boy Scout, honestly, who happens to be an alien, but he doesn't. I don't think he ever Superman ever questions what's right or wrong. I think he's frustrated sometimes between his private and public life, but in terms of playing a character, it's harder as an actor to play quote unquote good guy parts and make them interesting. So I tried to, I don't know, give him a sort of a goofy, but, altruistic sort of edge and kind of lean into that and
Interesting.
not make him too, I tried to not have him be too dimensional. I tried to be as sort of bring as much humanity as I could to it. But it is hard. It's a challenge to play somebody who's like a good guy. Just hard to have you don't have any edge that people kind of go, oh, he's the good guy. He's not as interesting as say Batman, who's got a lot more going on. But I think that Superman is necessary. He's a necessary linchpin in the whole DC universe for sure.
Right,
Gotta have
right. Absolutely. And was there like a particular moment or episode that stuck out to you really in the Justice League?
There's so many great ones, but for me personally, I like for the Man Who Has Everything. I like the Christmas episode. Um, um, they kind of blur together in my head, to be honest with you, between Unlimited and Justice League, and the movies and the games and stuff. I just wonder, like, wait, what happens in this storyline? But I do remember those as being standing out to me. And then, just the original Justice League, that first season, I thought was just the tone and the animation and the acting and the writing was very. I think this is so strong and so what's the word? Consistent and coherent. Once you start getting to Unlimited, it's just I don't want to say it's bat crap crazy, but it's just everywhere. All these other characters coming in and out. But Absolutely. I like it when it's just the League. I thought that was fun when it's just the League. But
Absolutely. What does a typical day in the recording booth look like for you?
Well, for me, I narrate a lot of audiobooks. So okay. I've narrated over 600 audiobooks. So
wow.
I'm in my booth a lot. So if an audiobook is very different than an animated job. So when I'm doing an animated job, it's usually just real, no longer than an hour. Or if it's a game or something, it's probably a couple hours. But audiobooks take 6-7 hours a day, and it's just it's really time consuming. But a day would start. For me, I have to go to the gym early, like 5:30 in the morning, and wake up, and then I drink a ton of water, and I try to get in the booth by 7:30 before the day gets going, because it's pretty exhausting, and I try to be done by 1, and then I'm kind of spent. For me, you're talking when I'm talking and talking and talking, a lot of energy. It's pretty draining. So that's what a day looks like for me.
So how would you protect your voice if you're doing that regularly?
I start with warm liquids in the morning, and then I segue into little colder things to sort of bring down the swelling. And I'll use Throat Coat, which is a tea that's got a lot of great anti-inflammatory. And then if it's really bad, I'll start sipping on some pineapple juice, which is good.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Also, green apple is a really nice soothing thing on your throat.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
I've heard those two. That's great. Yep. So I know you said you've done a lot of cons in the past. Are there any?
I can't believe I've done as many as I have, but it's been so fun. Actually, I love it. Yeah.
Are there any memorable fan interactions that stuck out to you so far?
There have been so many actually, and it's great that there's so many more people come dressed as Superman than Sephiroth. But It's so fun to see a father and son come in as Superman. That always tickles me. And then some of the fans make some of the coolest art. They bring really great art,
Oh yeah,
and that's always amazing to me. That a lot of times they give me stuff.
and the talent is insane, isn't
Oh
it?
my God, there's
it's
some
so crazy.
amazing talent out there. Yeah, it's been so fun to see.
I say that about TikTok too. Like the amount of talent that is like hidden out there in this world is just
It's
crazy.
incredible. It is incredible. And put all those professional actors out of business, man.
So so would you say if Justice League got a revival, would you jump back into the role?
Of course I would. Are you kidding? My God, 3 seconds.
That's what I figured.
I would love to.
If you were offered any other DC character besides Superman, who would it be?
I would love to do Batman. I can't lie. Would love to do Batman.
Oh, nice.
But my buddy Kevin Conroy, I know he can fill those shoes. But maybe Flash would be a lot of fun.
Oh, that would be
Flash
fun.
would be a lot of fun. Get to be funny and sarcastic and running around. Good exercise. I get all my steps in.
And then, what is a dream project of yours? Either voice acting or live action?
God, live action for me, I think my dream job would be to do a musical. Maybe a period musical would be my dream job, or a Western. Or better yet, a musical Western. A musical period Western. That would be fun.
Okay, so that's a perfect bridge because I was about to go to this question.
Yeah.
I am a musical theater podcast that doesn't do a lot of non-musical theater interviews, so you're one of the first.
There you go.
You can see my background.
Look at that.
What is your favorite musical out right now?
Favorite musical that's out right now? Gosh, it's out. I haven't been to New York in a minute. My wife was on Broadway. She did the second production of Godspell, so she knows Stephen Schwartz. My wife was actually the first. My wife was the first person to sing the Wicked score. To Kristen Chenoweth. She was right before Kristen Chenoweth, so she did the workshop of it. So she's got an amazing voice. But anyway, I'm just talking about my wife now. But my favorite musical, I sure loved Hamilton. God, it's hard to. That's the one that just sticks out in my head. Mm-hmm. And Dear Evan Hansen, but they're not really out. I guess they are out. What else have I haven't been to New York in a minute, a couple of years to see shows.
So if you like timed shows, I would suggest looking up the touring schedule for a show called Parade.
Parade, really?
Yes, it's a show based on the lynching, and it's a true story of a Jewish man down in Georgia.
Really?
And it is an incredible show.
Wow.
Absolute incredible show. I just saw it in Cleveland. And
oh my gosh.
It's on national tour right now. And if it comes out there, you should definitely see that.
Great. That's great advice. Thank you.
And it's based on Leo Frank. The 1915 lynching of Leo Frank. He was found guilty of murder of a teenage girl. But the thing is like everybody thinks he's not. He wasn't. He didn't do it.
It was circumstantial. It was all
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. And the governor actually commuted his sentence because he was issued a death sentence, and then he got commuted from the governor, and then he was kidnapped from prison and hung by.
Oh my God! What a terrible story!
Yeah, but it was so incredibly done. It's like it was a mix of like the true facts of what happened, and then a love story between Leo and his wife. And it's just
wow! Well, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, you should definitely look it up. So anyway, sorry, that was a that's a good one there. So what's next for you? What's outside audiobooks? Are you doing
I did a movie called The Prince with Andy Garcia and Nicolas Cage and Scott Hayes and J.K. Simmons. It's not a huge part, a couple 3 scenes, but it'll be out I think in May. So
nice. That's
awesome.
Prince. Yep. And then last but not least, are there any tips for aspiring voice actors or actresses?
I would say if you want to be a voice actor, get into an acting class first and find out if you have any talent. And then from there,
Okay.
if you have talent and you're good at it, then make a demo and a voice demo, and then start getting it out there. Start sending it to people. Start doing, free work, and then if you can, paid work.
That's awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome. Thank you so much, George. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Fan Expo is at Huntington Bank Convention Center this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. George and then a plethora of other Supermans are going to be there as well. That's the theme song. That's the theme this weekend. I will be there as well. Tickets are available at fanexpocleveland.com.
Right on. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon, Jim. Thank you. Bye.